They say necessity is the mother of invention, and this has certainly been a year of necessity, no doubt. And with that comes a lot of invention. I think the awards become particularly important because it helps operators cut through the noise of so many things that are out there now that may or may not have value in their daily operation, that they can identify a lot faster the things that they can use that they know would have value.
As far as innovation goes, I feel like innovation, is the ability to evolve in order to kind of address the industry's constantly changing climate, which is happening at a rapid pace right now. And also, to address consumers' shifting habits and expectations. So that can come in the form of a new way to address, an old problem or something that's just completely new that no one has ever thought of before.
It was all about survival, I think, for most people in our business. And it really shined a light, this whole year has really shined a light on who had a good business model, who didn't, who was able to change. But I think on the innovation side now that we can kind of take a step back and lift our heads out of the sand a little bit from, just day-to-day grind and say, okay, hey, what's out there? What were we working on before that we want to get back to? And then what has changed? And what do we need to start looking at? So that was kind of the lens I was looking at through all these products that we were evaluating. And there were obviously some beautiful standouts in that arena.
The year that we had last year, I think that really what it brought was an acceleration of trends that were already occurring. A lot of those things we already saw them occurring, but not at the pace in which they occurred last year. So it got us much further where we probably would have been in 4 or 5 years from now, last year and the beginning of this year. And I think that, again, spotlighting those different products and those different innovations that are out there of what's working or what would have been working 4 or 5 years from now that's working today, and how can we then capture, utilize, and harness it as we go forward.
I feel that this industry is now primed for innovation. The customer is ready, the industry is ready, the restaurants are ready. And, with the fourth industrial revolution that we're just on the verge of, which, I feel that is kind of like the meshing of the cyber and the physical spaces, having a forum such as this that creates that opportunity for a few players to kind of break away from the pack, the ones that are, call it the leading edge or the bleeding edge, I think it's an excellent opportunity for them to kind of break away and make their mark.
I think we're moving into a new direction. I think this was an event that changed things. In a lot of ways, we're going to have some of the same issues, trying to appeal to the customer, trying to make it sure that, but this is going to leave a impression of our customers. They're going to be looking for something else, what people call the new normal. They're going to be looking for something a little bit different. It's not the same as before. It's going to be a little bit different. How different? It's very hard to predict. But we know that they're looking more at additional things like, the cleaning of the environment, the service, the people, how you take care of your employees, a lot of other things that maybe they didn't have the focus on. So being able to help them feel safe coming into our establishment, and provide some innovation to do that, I think is a very important step for us to continue to succeed into the future.
You think about that transport with takeout and delivery, to me, that was extraordinarily innovative. And obviously what I see is restaurants paying a lot of attention to tamper-proofing the packaging for sandwiches and other takeout, but the drink becomes problematic. And it's hard because the systems are jam a straw in it and put the lid on and hope it makes it to the consumer the way it should. And like I said, I think it's just thinking about consumers, again, paying attention to things. The fact that you've now found a new way to safely seal a drink, I think makes all the difference in the world. And then the other one with the oil, that was a personal thing with me because as a stupid 17-year-old working in quick service, I managed to spill a whole bunch of hot oil down the front of me and landed myself in the hospital. So when I look at something like that, that's that creative, and just recognizing the safety elements before it, and Jorge was saying earlier, the attention we're paying to, or the attention other people are paying to our employees and how we treat people, the fact that we're setting up this focus on safety and ecology, that we're putting things together that are making things safer and better for the environment, I think speak well to where we're going as an industry.
I feel like it was kind of evenly split between inventions that help the employees, but then also inventions that help consumers. But I just thought it's interesting because you think innovation awards, something should be really flashy and glamorous, but these two inventions were just like so practical, it seems, and can really solve some problems in the industry.
You could definitely see underlying elements of COVID that drove pretty much everything that we saw. The UV light unit that we saw that could go into the ductwork, you could see all of it saying that, I think, was the inspiration, and clearly was a driver behind it. So it's just nice to see how many of these that are actually making it to market that are effective and I think have a practical use in the restaurants.
I thought there were some really great innovative ways of trying to extend life of food, for example, with the filtration system for refrigerators. Chipotle had a really innovative process with their new app for looking at supply chain emissions and sustainability there, which was great.
I definitely thought that there were some really interesting ones, and even the cooler one, I thought it was incredibly innovative.
The way that I kind of went through and ranked, if you will, or a component of the ranking was really around the greater impact that these products could have on us from society, from industry perspective, versus it just being that it's going to end up in a couple locations at the end of the day. And I think that as one of the things that came out of the last year was even this consumer-centric digital environment that we live within. And I think that when you start looking at something like Chipotle, which is what I love about it, is that all of a sudden you're getting towards that consumer-centric viewpoint of empowering a massive number of individuals to be able to make choices that are sustainable or environmentally friendly and that actually have impact. And then as a result,
I think it was interesting. The number of nominations, I think, was twice of the other two categories, just because it does sort of bleed into safety and health as well as sustainability, and looking at those areas from a lens of technology and just the different types of definitions for technology that we saw in the entrance. Something as simple as a type of container, which is, a type of technology if you're doing it in a new way that we couldn't do before, but then super kind of sophisticated future looking things like the training glasses. So I think it really ran the gamut. And a lot of them were, inspired by things that were problems that already existed, but then things that are kind of unique to the past year that's been so incredibly challenging for restaurants.
I think coming out of this pandemic, we're all looking for ways to optimize, whether it be robots and labor and there's a lot of different feelings about that, but I guarantee you we're gonna be testing it, But yeah, optimization, and I really think that all of the solutions, the ovens, was really geared to productivity and optimization and profitability, driving performance, financial performance at the stores.
For us, when we think of technology as an enabler for innovation in the food service industry, we look at it in kind of two ways, which some of you have already said. One is from the customer standpoint, and second is from the crew or employee standpoint. So as far as the customer is concerned, does it solve a problem? Does it close a gap, or does it explore an opportunity, which we may or may not be aware of? And on the business side, does it protect the business? Does it drive the business, or does it enable the business? And protect is where you see the elements of food safety. And enable and protect between those two categories is where you say sustainability as well. When I personally look at technology as a key enabler for innovation, I'm always looking for something that's going to last the test of time, that can actually coexist with people. Because at the end of the day, people have a different relation with food. So we're never going to stop eating food. Not that I think anyway. With that deep relation with food, what you don't want to do is create friction between somebody is hungry and their favorite meal on the other side. So technology has to kind of pave the way, enable the way, rather than get in the way. So if it is something that is kind of coexisting, it is something that is helping with the backup office or with the kitchen or with the prep, it has to be able to kind of coexist with people.